Wizzaboy presents. Today we are telling you the 5 most illnesses in the world history. Number 5. Cholera. What is cholera? Cholera malady, which is influenced by cataclysmic events and spreads effectively in social orders and poor-swarmed gatherings, causing lethal impacts, is a contamination brought about by Vibrio cholerae, microscopic organisms in the small digestive tract. Vibrio cholerae produces a toxin called enterioxin that has a protein structure in the small digestive tract. Enterioxin causes the emission of a chemical called adenyl cyclose from epithelium cells situated in the mass of the small digestive system. This compound builds the creation of a substance called cyclopenderosis 3,5-monophosphate, making the body liquid go into the depression. Liquid and electrolytes that are taken into the body are discharged from the small digestive tract without being reabsorbed, and side effects of genuine infection start to show inside the initial 6 to 48 hours after the pathogen microbes is taken into the body. Number 4. Malaria. What is malaria? Intestinal sickness, transmitted by the sting of a mosquito-bearing parasite. Whenever left untreated, it very well may be lethal, causing fever and chills and seizures. Is an ailment. Number 3. Plague. What is the plague? The bacterium Yersinia pestis, which caused the malady, was found in 1894 because of the examinations completed by Alexander Yersin, was named after its wayfarer. This bacterium has a thick and short structure called bacillus and can duplicate without any problem. It can make do for a considerable length of time, even outside the body. In dim and moist situations, it is realized that the microorganisms can get by for a considerable length of time, changing into a unique structure, for about a month in the defecation of bugs, and for a little while in irritation and sputum. Yersinia pestis microscopic organisms, which is known to be very impervious to cold, likewise keeps up its imperativeness in solidified situations for significant stretches of time. Looks into show that plague started in China and Central Asia, and it has spread to wide geologies with relocation. The plague, portrayed as dark passing, has prompted the demise of a large portion of the European populace previously. The malady has assumed a job in individuals as well as in the passing of numerous creatures. Today, after the determination of the illness, it very well may be treated at 100% rate with antitoxin applications. Therefore, early recognition of side effects is significant as far as achievement in the treatment of the sickness. People who experience side effects identified with plague ailment ought to be treated by applying to well-being establishments as quickly as time permits. Number 2. Spanish flu. Spanish influenza or Spanish influenza is a flare-up of influenza brought about by a fatal subtype of the H1N1 infection somewhere in the range of 1918 and 1920. Spanish flu was the biggest known pestilence in mankind's history, making the passing of 50,140 million individuals, 15% of the total populace living around in year and a half. Because of its spread to in excess of 500 million individuals. An element of Spanish flu is that it influences some youthful grown-ups, as opposed to the feeble, the old and the kids. It influenced the entire world in the most recent months of the First World War, and it was a significant factor toward the finish of the war, which, as per a few students of history, went on for a long time. Citation needed. The expression, Spanish flu-up, has been utilized in Turkish since 1918. The infection, which seems by all accounts to be brought about by the H1N1 infection, the equivalent with the exception of a couple of minor contrasts, which caused pig influenza because of tests taken from some mass graves opened years after the fact, has been alluded to as Spanish flu-up because of its interpretation from English. In spite of the fact that the plague didn't begin in Spain, the motivation behind why it was called Spanish influenza was that Spain was not associated with the First World War and that the Spanish press carried the pestilence issue to the plan just because, while there was no notice of the scourge in other European states, Number 1. AIDS. What is AIDS? HELPS is an abbreviation for Acquired Immune Deficiency Syndrome. HELPS, brought about by the HIV infection, is the phase when the invulnerable framework is powerless against diseases and tumors and is perilous. In spite of what is normally known, AIDS doesn't happen in each individual who is HIV positive. On account of antiretroviral drugs created against HIV infection, the invulnerable framework can battle diseases without genuine harm. That is, body obstruction doesn't diminish. Notwithstanding drug treatment after HIV transmission, AIDS may not happen contingent upon the individual's day-to-day environments and body opposition. And there is a likelihood that it might happen following 5 to 15 years or more. Commonness of HIV on the planet. In Turkey is an infectious disease with HIV is regular these days everywhere throughout the world. As per the information of the World Health Organization, 37 million individuals on the planet convey HIV infection. 60% of HIV constructive individuals get antiretroviral treatment. In our nation, with the expanding mindfulness and testing openings about HIV, the quantity of individuals analyzed increments. Notwithstanding, in Turkey, it is considered among the nation's AIDS isn't normal. As indicated by the exploration done by the Ministry of Health somewhere in the range of 1985 and 2018, the quantity of individuals living with HIV in Turkey 1736 AIDS cases and 557 people are accessible. The age bunch with the most elevated number of cases is the 30 to 34 and 25 to 29 age gathering. Considering the circulation as per the transmission course, it is seen that 49% of the cases are explicitly transmitted and 71% of these cases answered to be explicitly transmitted or hetero. The quantity of individuals determined to have HIV in 2018 is 2,199, and 83% of them are men. Among those analyzed, those between the ages of 25 to 29 or more than other age gatherings. There is an expansion in the HIV pattern in years. Thanks for watching. We've come to the end of our video. If you liked it, do not forget to follow us to subscribe. You may be interested in our other videos. Please check out our channel. Goodbye.